When SEIKO first released their SEIKO 5 GMT a few years ago, it was an instant hit. I knew SEIKO would drop different colorways, and that they have. The latest colorway, the reference number SSK033, features a white dial with a black and blue bezel. What's a good nickname for this? The albino bat? Before I continue, big shout out to my friend Brian from GQ Jewelers. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to check out so many new SEIKO releases. Hey, do me a solid, go support him in any kind of way your heart desires. I'll leave his information in the description. My love affair with watches all began about 10 years ago with a SEIKO SKX007. As you know, for sub $200, you got an ISO certified watch with an in-house automatic movement, 200 meters of water resistance, crazy lume, and a beautiful design. Unfortunately, SEIKO thought it was a good idea to discontinue the SKX, and the new SEIKO 5 was redesigned, and it pretty much looked like an SKX but lacked the water resistance, ISO certification, and it was a lot more expensive. In my opinion, these GMT versions may look like an SKX and kind of scratch the itch, but they're no replacement for the icon. The specifications for this watch are as follows. The case measures in at 42.5 millimeters. It's 46 millimeters from lug to lug, 22 millimeters in between the lugs, and it's 13.6 millimeters thick. The watch weighs in at 161 grams, comes with a Harlex crystal and a water resistance of 100 meters. I love the drill lugs. This makes strap changing a lot easier and gives it a more tool watch aesthetic. Another cool aspect of this watch is a bidirectional friction bezel that helps with tracking a third time zone. In most lights, it appears only to be one color, but it's a bicolor bezel. It's black and blue. It's interesting to note that the bezel resembles a ceramic bezel, but in fact, it has a Harlex crystal protecting the aluminum insert. You won't find any sapphire here, as SEIKO's still putting Harlex crystals in their entry-level watches. What a shame. Furthermore, I've warmed up to the idea of SEIKO using a Cyclops to magnify the date window. It took some time getting used to it, but I accept the change. The wide silver dial is beautiful, and SEIKO opted for applied indices as opposed to printed like the SKX. I'm not a big fan of the SEIKO 5 logo, but eventually it will grow on me. Maybe. That blue GMT hand looks super cool when the light hits it, and it matches the color of the bezel. The watch does feature a push and pull crown. I would have preferred a screw down crown, but this does make it easy to adjust the time on the fly. The Lumibright glows very nice and has been applied on the indices and hands. Honestly, I was very surprised to see how bright it glowed next to the SKX, and in my humble opinion, the lume actually looks brighter because it reflects on that white dial. Another huge improvement over the SKX is the Jubilee style bracelet. I mean, the clasp is still folded metal, but the overall feel of the solid links is much better, and yes, it does feature solid end links. The watch is very comfortable to wear, and I personally have always loved the way this case fits on my 6 and 7/8 inch wrists. And thanks to the 22mm lugs, this watch looks great on a variety of straps. It's also cool that this watch gives us a display case back, and through that display case back, we get to admire the in-house automatic caliber 4R34 that can be hand-wound and features hacking. The caliber features 24 joules, 41 hours of power reserve, and beats at 21,600 beats per hour. This GMT movement is called a collar GMT. The GMT hand can be operated independently of the main hour and minute hand. A collar GMT also allows the date to be adjusted in the same crown position that the GMT hand is in. Someone calling into different time zones would use the local/home hand differently than a traveler GMT. The GMT hand would reflect where they're calling. Overall, this watch is a must for anyone looking for a GMT watch that doesn't break the bank. Heck, you've seen it here next to a Rolex GMT with the same bezel color, and the SEIKO does not look out of place. The watch is not perfect, but for a watch that's entirely made in-house, costs less than $500, has huge legacy, and gets the respect from the watch community, including myself, this is a watch I can stand behind. I truly love SEIKO watches. They offer so much for so little. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know how many SEIKO watches you own. Be safe out there and stay humble.